Yo, 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 yo. Dude, how many times do we have to see something happen before our very eyes? What I'm telling you is that I've been doing this a long time, okay? And I've been putting these levels in like overnight and just leave it there, right? Um, and I can't tell you how many times I wake up and I see this. You can't be more perfect than this, bro. You can't be more perfect than this, dude. Are you kidding me? You plot the zone, and this thing lands 50% into the zone and comes out of it for at least a 3-1? Dude, this is unbelievable. I can't tell you how many times this shit happens to me. This is unbelievable. So I'm gonna walk through how the fuck did we get to this conclusion, this zone right here? Because obviously we're doing something right. Obviously something's going on here. Because, dude, this is not magic. I put this shit way far before I see this pivot. Way far before. Dude, I put this zone like that. I put that zone there. And look, this happens all the time. I'm not overreacting on just one zone, dude. Just I'm happy on one zone. No, bro. I can give you tons of examples right now that this shit is plotted way before it actually happens. And I see overnight it just does that. It's unbelievable. This is how this is my edge. The 15-minute chart, the 5-minute chart, the 60-minute chart for a bigger move than a small scalp. It's a bigger move. Look, this is unbelievable. All I have to do is I see that it's coming downwards, and it actually it went upwards, and then it came down a little bit, and we were seeing that it was coming down. On the weekly chart, we were seeing that it was coming down off supply that you can't see here. Um, I mean, this is prime example for supply as well. This is unbelievable. I gotta tell you right now. Do you see that these where these candles split apart? That's a supply zone. That's a line. It's a line. And what did this candle do? It completely ignored the fact that there was a line there. It ignored it. So it's actually heading in a direction, and Price told me that um, Price told me that I'm not going for you. I'm headed exactly towards this next opposing zone. Because it ignores this line, it tells me exactly where it's going. It's like in poker where someone says, where you raise someone, and you raise if you raise people a significant amount, they each actually either have to have something. They have to have something because if they don't, they know that I'm gonna go all in. They're scared that I'm gonna go all in, so they can't bluff out of it. I'm raising them in this situation. They have to choose. So they ignore this line, and now we narrow it down to that they have something at this zone. Okay, that's where it's going. Now, I know that because they've ignored the fact of this zone, and they're overextended, and they have to land somewhere, and they have to turn around somewhere. And here's what happens. Look at this daily chart. It completely ignores this line, this supply zone, right? And it ignores it on a one big giant candle, and it actually comes and lands right into supply. And this worked on numerous occasions. One, it went all the way for a 2-to-1, 1.5 to 1, you know. Two, it went for a 1-to-1. And now um, it's obviously coming back off that demand that I plotted. But um, this is a picture perfect zone, in my opinion. There's free space, it's protecting free space to the upside. It's an impulse move downwards, and then it creates a range on top of that. It breaks the range to get to the zone. That's fresh. That's a fantastic zone, man. It's because it's due to the fact the location. I like the location even better than the formation. The formation's alright. It is because the distal line is closest to the leg in. But the as far as the formation, the location goes, it's a lots of free space it's protecting. If it breaks this, say if it's green like this on the right hand of the chart right now, it's so green. You really expect another leg upwards because if it pops this zone, where the hell is it headed, dude? It's not gonna turn around right in the middle, guys. Look at every pivot point in the chart. It turns at supply or demand every single time, dude. It does not turn. It doesn't turn. Look at it doesn't turn um, in the middle of nowhere. So it has to turn right here. That's where it has to turn, bro. If it's overextended already, look at the last correction. I mean, these are minor corrections. This is the last correction right here. These are minor corrections. It's still an impulse move, and not gonna lie, there's no micro correction. There's no correction. It's still green. The odds of it, the odds of it coming down from here are very high. Why? Because one, it's overextended. Two, um, it ignored these zones, this zone, and Price is telling me that I'm headed here. I'm gonna turn here because I ignored this zone. You rose me, so in poker he got raised, and he's got something. Like he's raising, and if he doesn't, so it's like I'm raising him, and if he doesn't call here, if he doesn't call here, he's most definitely gonna call here, guys, because um yeah, if he doesn't call here, um we know we know what he's got. You know what I mean? We're narrowing it down, and that's where the edge is, and that's what happens. It came off of it. You can make money from these moves downwards. Okay, you should be able to make money off of those. So it's obviously a 1-to-1 down to these initial pivots, and say a 1-to-2 for the final target, for the actual target. Okay, and then it works again for a 1-to-1. So how did I find this zone? That's what this video is all about. Okay, so we know kind of where the price is going. We find higher time frame supply. That's the curve in this situation. It's coming off of that. Okay, and it comes down. We see that it's coming from some rally-based rally. We from this time frame we don't know how good it is. We don't know what it is, but obviously it worked. It moved upwards again. Okay, and we know that this is a range. Okay, we know that. It dips into more higher time frame supply. It dips into even deeper. Okay, even deeper, and then it comes down once again, right? So it's coming down. We know that we're battling this higher time frame supply. So we're like automatically, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be a big buyer, but if anywhere, I'm gonna probably buy here. So at this point, it's the same situation as what we just saw. And let me explain here. So this current bar, this green bar, green bar, green bar, red bar, right? And then this next bar, it actually skips over this zone, this rally, base, rally, where it's protecting free space. This candle right here, that candle, is a candle that signifies free space below it. It's a candle that signifies that up in this wick and above, so in this top of the body and all the way up on the wick is all demand. All of it. That's all demand. And that's what happened with this current with this red bar. It came into demand, it came out of it all the way, right? And it couldn't have not, because Look at the demand. This is where I would this is where my brain thinks of demand. Okay? That's where I think demand is. Okay? But on the contrary, below it, I think the momentum is downwards. If it pops, if this breaks, I think that there's room to the downside all the way to the next candle split. To the next candle. See? So I think this candle, because of a topping wick like that, and it starts off very bullish, it's called a bull fib in my vocabulary. We all make up, I make up my own fucking vocab, bro. My own vocab. So this is a bull fib. It's a candle that's strong move in one direction and it creates a topping wick like that, but it definitely closes on the upper side of its entire range. So it doesn't have a hammer. It's no hammer. Not at all. Like this red candle, not the same whatsoever, obviously, because it's Prince Red. So it's a bull fib, and we signify free space below it. So it's going boom. That's the free space right here. That's free space right here. Okay. And where's it headed? That's where it's headed, the split. So now that I know that this red candle on the 240-minute chart, higher time frame, it broke this demand and broke out and kept going and kept going and kept going all the way to the split. So if it's going to turn anywhere, it's going to turn in the split, guys. Anywhere it's going to turn in the split. Look at how perfect that is. It turns in the split. So what I do, I like, okay, well that I already have a bias of where I want to look and hunt for demand. Okay? So let's just erase. That's already know. I already know where I want to hunt for demand. Inside between these lines on a smaller time frame just to see what this split is and see if it's valid for me. Okay. So now I like price when it's overextended. See this red bar, it broke a zone, it skipped a zone, and it's onto the next, and I have a high probability of turning on that one, on that zone, because it's already pushed. Price has pushed its way through already a zone, which is what I want to see. And that's the same thing that happened on the higher time frame. That's the same thing that happened on this time frame. And you see that obviously, I mean, this candle, all these candles start within this little range, and this candle started right in the middle of that range, and it blew past this demand. This free space I was talking about, it proves itself on this time frame. It's free space, right? And it kept on going, and it kept on going, it kept on going, and it's entering into the split, and that's the only place it can go. Because guess what? Guess what? If it passes this split, guys, if it passes this split, it has to go all the way down to this demand. All the way down to these wicks. It might not, it might go into these wicks, it might go into this top of the bodies. But guys, that's further away. That's even further away. Do you see any 60-minute bar that goes that far? I see one right here. I see one right here, and you could say that this bar right here is big enough to get there, but it's not because it has to go from here all the way to here. So we already know that this bar is overextended. So the 240-minute overextended and the 60-minute overextended, both of them have free space below this demand that it completely ignored. It ignored, and where is it headed? It's right into the split, um, and that's where I want to hunt for demand. And obviously the 60-minute, I can't see anything, so we go to the 15-minute. And not only the 240-minute and the 60-minute was a split, but the 15-minute is a split as well. Now, the 15-minute, we can see that there's more demand, right? We can see that there's a demand here, there's a split underneath, and then the next move is actually at the bottom of these wicks that I was pointing at. Okay, but there is significant free space below it. It's outside the range, which is right here, this rangey stuff. It's outside of that. It's outside of this demand. It's going to pile people in from here, but it's mainly protecting free space. That's what we're looking for. Now, it's obviously an impulse move on the 15-minute as well. Big candles. In the smaller time frames, I'm not as concerned about an overextended candle because um, candles split apart so quickly. So it's hard to keep track of. I mean, if you're on a 5 minute bar, oh, it's overextended now in my zone. Well, it's gonna print in the next 30 seconds, and now it's not gonna be overextended. You know what I mean? So it's good to look at the higher time frame overextended, which is a lot easier. Trust me. So here's the 15 minute. We see the rally base value. We don't see it fully, but we know that this line and this line is the 240-minute split. Okay, that's what we're hunting for. It's overextended. It broke a zone. It completely skipped a zone, which forces the market to tell us what it's going to do. It by skipping a zone strong in one fashion is telling us what it has. It's showing its cards to us, in my opinion. Same thing on the 60 minute. I can't get any more clear than this. The 15 minute. Now we see a split as well, but we know that I don't want this demand zone because it's not in the 240-minute split. Okay? Because if something's overextended on the 240-minute chart, it's most likely headed to the split, and that's where my high probability setup would be. 5 minute. Okay, the 5 minute is now where we actually hunt for the zone in between these levels, right? In between this line and this line. And I can't tell you how perfect that looks. It's because it's a strong move in. There's no demand underneath it, which signifies free space that it's protecting. This is the last zone before this free space is going to have a fallout all the way to the bottom. It has to. Or not has to, but it's more than likely, okay? Secondly, it's fresh. There is no pivot. See if this move, so if this move is established, impulse up, and this send bar came down and kind of tested in and out. So that wouldn't be fresh, guys. That wouldn't be fresh because we'd see a wick inside our zone. This is fresh and never been tested again. This one, it tried to test. I tried to test. But guys, it did not. It did not get there. Absolutely not. That's not a test. It's got to come back into this trigger point. This is where I actually think it's going to buy. Right here. That's where my trigger point is, and that's where my entries would be. Okay. Um, all up in here. That's a good, very, very amazing entry. But guess what? I mean, obviously, people front run these things all day long, so it's hard to get perfect entries. But that's what I want. Um, and just to signify the zone a little bit better, I don't know where the price ended up, but if I was competitive and I'm not risking more than I want to, this is what I would do. That's what my zone would be. Entry, stop. Okay, and that's the formation check. So location check, higher time frame shows us what we want, shows us what the market wants to do by skipping a zone and overextend it into a split area. It tells us what he wants to do. There's free space below it. And then the last check is that the look of the zone on the smaller time frame, which is just happens to be the 5 minute. Okay, I'm saying the one time frame lower than the split time frame. I call it the minimum candle time frame, which is the MTF. Okay, so for a level. So obviously on the 15 minute, you see that it's a split. You see that? You can't tell what it is. The 5 minute. It's a 5 minute zone in my book. Okay. And look what happened. So it dipped in really strong and dipped out really strong. That's what I want to see because this is going to be a wick on this on the higher time frame. Comes out, so it actually ended up right on the outside of this box. No, in the inside of this box, but right on the very distal line of it. Okay, and it came right up and out. Okay, I mean I don't know how else to do it. You can plot what it would be just to make it bigger than normal. I mean, to just tell you what it does, it's a 3 to 1 pretty easily. A 3 to 1. 4 to 1, 5 to 1. I mean, this is unbelievable. You only have to win 33% of the time. You only have to rent a 3 to 1, dude. You only have to win 25% of the time, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. 3 plus 1 is 4. 1 divided by 4 is 25%. You only have to win 25% of the time if you have a 3 to 1 every trade. Guys, this is going to win more than 3. This is going to win more than 25% of the time. This is fantastic. It's fantastic, guys. So, that's what I wake up to. It's just unbelievable. I mean, I can't tell you how many times this happens, bro. I can't even tell you. This happens all the time. So, man, oh man, why can't we just put big money on here and just do these rules and I don't get it. I mean, oh guys, come on. Come on, guys. 30-minute time frame, but come on. Look at that. Look at that. I did this well before. I'm telling you, well before. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. We knew these things. We know these things. I don't know how we know it. I don't know how we know it. I think I just explained it, but honestly, the shit works, bro. That's all I can say. Alright. Thanks for listening.